Good morning, it's Brian. You are on the Art of Startup War. The Art of Startup War is here for one thing and one thing only, and that is if you are an investor and you are looking for the next unicorn, you are looking for an early stage startup company that has the potential of 20 times, 40 times, 60 times, 100 times returns, which is why we are all in this game. And you want to find out where those startups are hiding, this is where they are. Because this is a place where we do not promote companies. I'm not here to tell you about who I think is good and who I think is bad. I'm here to tell you who we have just invested in. So we put our money into the companies and then we bring them here to the show so you can get a good 30, 35 minutes to really get under the covers and understand what makes these great people tick. So today I have a phenomenal entrepreneur. This is not his first time at this. It is his second bite at the unicorn apple. First bite accomplished, achieved, nailed, did it in one shot. It was a hole in one, right? Second time around, he's even going for a bigger opportunity, and everybody here is going to get a chance to be able to get involved in it. The company is a great company, Eden Life. Nadir, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. Really excited to be here.
Man, I'm excited to be chatting with you. I'm excited to be chatting with you because we're not just talking about a great company that you're building, which I truly believe the world needs on just such a monster level, but we're also talking about a journey that you've already gone through, which you have to be an entrepreneur to understand how brutal this journey is. I truly believe like it's the way of warriors, because to go through like you go to war, you go to battle, sure, it's very physical, but this damn thing, this is physical and it's mental. And then it's a little bit more mental on top of that. Just when you think there's not enough pressure just to go around, you throw a little bit more on. And so you went at it once, you had an unbelievably strong success with Andela, like just congrats, you're awesome. It was such a great company. And it really became just that company that Africans look at and say, yeah, this represents success. And so I want to jump into Eden Life, but before I do, tell us a little bit about what that journey was like with Andela. I mean, let's spend about 5 minutes just talking about it, and maybe just the emotional journey. And also, like, did you know at the beginning it was going to become as big as it was going to become, or did it kind of just dawn on you after the IPO?
Thanks, Brian, for that wonderful intro. Well, so for some context, Andela is a global technical talent marketplace. So if you're a fast-growing tech startup anywhere in the world or company, you always need to augment your dev team. You always need more engineering resources, and Andela is the best way to scale your engineering team. It's like AWS for engineering talent. But it wasn't always that way, and it wasn't always that clear. So if you rewind back to early 2014, um, I was just coming out of my first foray into entrepreneurship, actually building an edtech startup, and we were really thinking about how do we solve that unemployment problem in Africa, because we have one of the in fact, we have the fastest growing population in the world. Um, and there's like 50% youth unemployment across the continent, and so many brilliant people. So our thesis was brilliance is evenly distributed, but opportunity is not, because for each of these brilliant unemployed people in the US, there was at least five open engineering jobs for one engineer. And so in 2014, I took a one-way flight from Toronto to Lagos, Nigeria, and I was on a mission to find the smartest and brightest young people and convert them into world-class software engineers. So emotionally, it was very exciting, and it felt like that was the thing that I should be doing at the time, just because it was a massive, massive mission, right? It's like connecting brilliance with opportunity globally. And fast forward like 5 years into that journey, I ended up moving around Africa a lot. So Lagos, Nigeria, Nairobi, Kenya, Cairo, Egypt, Accra, Ghana, going to all of these places and building developer communities. And we ended up training over 100,000 software engineers from Africa.
Wow.
And we have powered thousands of companies today. And today, Andela is like a pure tech talent marketplace platform that any person who has brilliance, any place around the world, can join on there and be connected to a great company.
And I think, people say that as an entrepreneur, actually, I say, as an entrepreneur, like you don't do it for the money. It's not that the money isn't important. The money is really important, but the fact of the change that you can bring to the world. And it was such a huge problem that you were fixing. Like, it's so ridiculous over here. Like, I've sat in meetings where people are fighting over a tech talent, not because it's the best tech talent in the world, but because it's the best tech talent in the town, and they're spending 100K, 150K, 200K, 250K, 300K. And there's all these hands up in these places around the world with better tech talent, not as good, better tech talent, that have learned more, got better, got more skills. And those people just are not seen because they're hidden away. So just the purpose of being able to go throughout Africa and say, we're gonna make sure that this is shared out, not according to we need to give it to people because people should get it, but we're going to share it with people who deserve it. It's such an awesome mission that you did and that you brought to the world. So I think it's huge. And then for you to come back, so just I say it like massive congrats. I got nothing but just huge admiration, because you came in and you mentioned the word community almost at the beginning, and it's really funny. You talk about scaling a unicorn, which is a multi-billion-dollar company while it's still private at the time, but you didn't even mention any of the money in it. You mentioned the important things, such as the sharing of that talent, and then also making sure that you build the right community for that talent to soar. Talk to me a little bit. I want to dig in on the community if I can, because I think the community and your community building skills and what you did with Andela, with your co-founders, is going to go forward into what we're going to look to do in Eden Life in exactly the same way. How did you build that community, city, country by country, city by city, and then town by town, to make sure you pull them together to get them under the Andela umbrella?
Yes. So it really started from showing people what is possible, right? And these communities sort of already existed. Like there were groups of people who were already practicing software development, but let's say at the time it was very early and they didn't necessarily have like the platform or the support or the resources. And one of the first things that I did when I moved to Lagos was I went to hang out at these different hubs, right? And I would ask them the question. I would ask if a lawyer or if a lawyer, a petroleum engineer, and a doctor and a software developer went into a bar or a party today, um, who is going to get the most respect? And of course, everybody says it's the petroleum engineer, and then the lawyer, and then the doctor, and like the software developer is always last, right?
Mate,
Which makes
I
sense
think,
because I mean, like,
hang on. I don't think this was the question. I think the question was, if a banker, a doctor, a lawyer, and a software engineer go to a party, who's going to get the girl? I'm just guessing here, but like, yeah, but I'm with you. Okay, we're on the same principle. Okay, and the answer is still exactly the same. Okay,
the
go
answer is exactly the same. It's exactly because at the time, software developers in this market didn't have the swag, didn't have the pull, didn't have the respect. And I was like, look, guys, like this is what my story has been, and these are the things that I've been able to build in my short career as a software engineer. And look at all of these other things that people are building, and look at all the opportunity that sits within our continent. And technology is the only way that we're going to take advantage of all these opportunities. And when all of you get to that level and you're able to accomplish these things, then when we go to the bars, we're the ones who are going to be the rock stars, right? So
yeah.
it started off with that story. And people started getting really, really, really interested. And then when we put out the first call for applications, we said, join Andela. We will pay you to learn to be a world class software engineer. And people were like, "Holy shit! Like, you mean I don't have to pay? And then like this program, I'm actually going to learn how to do this thing." And we said yes, and they came. We assessed them. It wasn't a community where everybody could join. We assessed people based on raw aptitude and problem solving ability, and also their disposition towards learning and having new experiences. And then we put them through a boot camp program for about 4 months. And in there was just like constant collaboration between themselves. They were building things, they were sharing things, they were helping each other learn. I always say that as much as we would like to take the credit for the impact that we had, the credit really goes to the people, because like they really wanted to do these things. We just had to create the right environment for them to thrive in. And so ultimately that worked. And it worked in Lagos, then we spread it to Nairobi, then we spread it to Accra, then we spread it to Cairo, then we spread it to Kigali. And like next thing you know, you have these communities of just like hundreds of thousands of developers that are self-learning and just growing really rapidly.
Beautiful. And then so you had a great success with Andela. It's still doing fantastic. It's still providing with resources from Africa all over the world for just jobs and resources which need to be connected. And then you said, okay, I've taken that mission to a place where the mission can now turn into a beautiful flower and go on its own. I now need to move and do something different. I won't even say like I feel bigger, because obviously we're invested in you here and I love what you're doing and I love where you're going. But really, I think once you get enormous, there's just different types of enormous, right? So it's okay. It doesn't even need to be bigger. It just needs to have the same significant impact that Andela did in a different area of life. And that's kind of where I see you going to now. I see you just going to everyday Africans and say, hang on, there's another huge problem. And this is what great entrepreneurs do. And I need to fix that problem. And that problem is this. So talk to us about the genesis of Eden Life. Like, where did it come from? What was happening? What were you looking at in the world? Like, I don't know, but like, that was just so friggin' messed up that you're like, nah, I got to fix this. I did what I needed to do. And Andela, this is next.
Awesome. So Brian, you have a pretty awesome life, right? Can you imagine your life where you're like losing maybe 5 to 10 hours a day just due to inefficiencies around your circumstances? Maybe you don't have like efficient transport, or you don't have access to power, or the essential services you need, you just cannot access them at your fingertips, or you do not know the right things to eat to like maintain a healthy body. Like, can you imagine what your life would look like?
Yeah, but for everybody, I imagine, because it's our biggest resource has moved from actually being money to being time. Time is now our greatest enemy because there's so many things that need to get done, and we've so many responsibilities. And like, forget even like a random dude like me. Can you imagine a woman? Before it used to be relatively simple, wrong but simple, right? A woman would have a role, and that role was like all encompassing and killer. Now she's got three roles, right? So everybody's emancipated and they're doing great, but they got three roles. Like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, you gotta work like literally 27 hours in a day just to make it through the day. And here's the other problem. Now you got me going. Like, we're not even talking about inflation, we're just talking about life. Everything has become so expensive that it's now impossible, even if you wanted to have, and whether it's couples who are men and men, or women or women, or women or men, or wherever it is, like, you previously had the choice of one of them not working. You don't have that choice anymore. So everybody's got to work. Everybody's got to take care of the kids. Everybody's got to take care of the daily things that need to be done. There is no time. It's been stolen from us. So yes, I get it.
Exactly. And there is no time. And this problem is even worse in Africa, because like the infrastructure to support like some of these things that you need for life to function don't just exist. So I was living in Africa all the while being Andela, moving from place to place, and I felt that problem really deeply. And I was like, wait, but hold up, like this is ridiculous. The people like Brian who have figured this out. It's a group of smart people who have already figured out how to live a great life, how to live a healthier life so they can have more longevity, how to become financially stable so they can retire early, how to gain more time by automating things in their life so they can do the things that they love. And the greatest enemy to that is like we are alive, but we are not really living because there are all of these impediments that are competing with our time and with our energy. And even if we all die, what if we can get what if we can get some years back and live a little longer? And what can we do with that little longer that we get that is going to be meaningful and make us fulfilled? And that is the Eden life, right? And that is why we decided to start this company. It's like, yes, we are going to make a healthy life, financially stable life, a fulfilled life. We're going to make that accessible to all Africans.
I love that. Living a better life. And I mean, I know you say that about me, but I only realized this when I was like late to maybe mid 40s. You know, before mid 40s, I did chase the other things. And the problem with chasing the other things is you're always trying to catch up with time. And so I do. I look back and I was talking to my wife about it. My wife's from Spain, I'm from Ireland. And I was talking to her about this, and I'm like, man, I wish somebody when we were kids had really taught us how to have a good relationship with money. And what I mean by a good relationship with money is just not to be a slave to it, right? Not to be every single day chasing it so you can pay the bills and hope that you make it at the end of the month. And then you go, it's okay. And then, of course, that relationship then turns into a fear relationship because now you're afraid of money. And it wasn't until actually I came over to the US many years later where I got introduced to some people who had a very different relationship with money. And their relationship with money was that it was a tool. And you could argue, yeah, rich people think like that. But no, people who are educated about having a good relationship with money, the same as they're educated about having a good relationship with kids and wives and husbands and friends, like they do it better. And so I learned very, very late in life to actually start to focus on the enjoyment of purpose. Like I love it. When I think about you and Eden Life, like I think of like the Ikigai guy, like because they have this wonderful thing over in Japan, which is Ikigai. And Ikigai is about they study the Japanese island where people live longer than everyone else, and it's all about Ikigai. And Ikigai is a life full of purpose. And then they look and say, well, what does purpose look like? Well, it looks like doing things that you love doing. It looks at doing things that make you money so that there's a value to it, doing things that you are good at, not just that you love, but things that you are good at as well. And it kind of all wraps into this one thing, which is you wake up in the morning, no matter how early, and every moment in life is about enjoying that moment. And that's what I see when you first came in. You're like, hey, we got to make sure people are healthy. If they're not healthy and they're not eating right, but they got to eat well and they got to enjoy it. Like you can't be freaking miserable and live longer, right? You got to be able to have some stuff that you taste and like, yeah, that's nice. But you live well and you take care of your body and you nutrition, you give it the nutrition it needs. And then you got to make sure that that relationship with money that I was talking about is then built in as well, whereby people are educated and they understand what money can do and they can understand how to make money work as a tool and not to be someone who's continually working for money. And then it goes on to the really cool stuff, which is, what do you love doing? Oh, yeah, you don't know because you've actually never gone to find out because you've never had a chance because you've been continually. Anyway, I get it, right? I know you're supposed to say it, but like I just get it. Like this is my greatest dream for humanity is that they can not make more money. Who cares about money, right? It's that they can really embrace everything that life has to offer. And if that thing that it has to offer is that you're saving the world, well, go out there and save the world. If the thing it has to offer is that you become like the greatest that you can be in whatever sport or whatever endeavor or whatever, then do those types of things. But most people, their only objective is just making it to the end. And that's very sad for me.
Yes, exactly. And Eden Life is saying, hey, we will meet you right where you are right now, and we are going to guide you on this journey to being your healthier self, to being financially free, to discovering the things that you love doing. And now you have all of this additional quality time you've gained from our platform. Here's how you can channel that into living a fulfilled life.
Yeah, and I'm so looking forward to really getting stuck in on the growth hacking with you, because this is a community that you build. Like, people are going to get behind this. I love the fact that the first thing you did was went out there, built a factory, started creating this food pipeline where you can actually start then making the deliveries throughout Lagos, so that you've got people actually being nutrition right from the very beginning. Talk to us about the journey. You raised money. Of course, you had no problem raising money because you are who you are. But just like, talk to us about the journey of raising the money, about deciding to go after the food first, because, and then maybe about all of the different staples in each one of the corners. Obviously, one we mentioned is food, another one is money, but all of the other things that you're going to build in as well.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So just like you mentioned before, Brian, it's like without health, you can't really have anything else. Right? Like that is really the entry point to having a quality life. And when we started out, we said, okay, like we need to prove a few things. One is we need to prove that we can enable people to eat well, and in addition to that, we also need to prove that on our platform, people can just get more and gain more time. And so the first thing we did was we identified recurring parts of daily life where people experience recurring time loss, and that frequently happens in home chores. So for food, you're either cooking or you're doing groceries on a regular basis, um, or you're on the housekeeping side. You're like making sure your home is clean and tidy, and like everything is in the right place. On the dry cleaning side, if you're going to work every day or you're going out every day, you need to make sure like you look good, you feel good. And we said, okay, so we're going to offer food delivery, and do it in an automated fashion, where if you're a member of Eden Life, you do not have to think about food at all. So every week you just decide things you want to eat from our menu and you choose them, and the delivery is going to be automated throughout the week. So you set it once and you forget it. Similar experiences with the dry cleaning and laundry, but we started with food. So we raised our seed funding in at the end of 2020, and the next thing we started to do was we're going to build this factory that's going to produce the food that Eden Lifers are going to eat. And why is that? Why didn't we just go and just bring on restaurants onto the platform like a marketplace? The reason why is because no one out there is really paying attention to what does it mean for people to really eat healthy, and how do we tell people exactly what they're putting into their bodies, and how do we give them the best of that. And so we went all the way to setting up our own factory, just so that we could design menus that are optimized for keeping people in their healthiest shape. And it's also good food too. It's not like it is healthy food that doesn't taste good. It's like it's healthy food that is like very delicious and always shows up on time, all day, every day. Um, and we did that, and like the customer reviews are ridiculous. Like there's people saying things like, Eden Life has completely changed my life. I do not know how I was living before this was made available to me. There's people saying things like, I have become 10 times more productive because every day as I go to work, all I'm really doing is being focused on my, because all these other things are now taken care of for me. So now that we have actually cracked the food part, we're doubling down on those other things that we want to add to our platform. So there's a dry cleaning service where every 2 weeks your laundry gets picked up and dropped off 48 hours later. Everything is washed, ironed, and folded for you. There's the housekeeping where every week at a particular day, depending on your schedule, professional housekeepers show up to your home, tidy everything up, make sure everything is clean, prim, and proper. And then moving beyond that, next year we're adding other services to our platform, like medicine and supplements. So everybody has like those additional nutrients that they need to like supercharge themselves. We're gonna have all of that on the platform. We're also going to have beauty products, especially for the women on our platform. Look good, feel good, right? Live your best life. That's also going to be on the platform. We're also going to have partnerships with all the fitness and recreational centers. So you want to have a fit body, you want to have a fit mind. All of those things you can access on our platform. And we're also going to have entertainment experiences as well. You want to go watch a movie, you want to attend a play, all of that stuff is integrated. So what we are really building in our product is the operating system for life. And this operating system, it brings you in with that entry point of food and the other parts of your life that we either like take chores away from you to give you quality time back, or we expose you to quality experiences that you wouldn't otherwise have been able to access.
I love it. And that's great. And then so you're raising money now, right? Because we're going back for the
Yes.
next round. We did the first round, raised a couple of million on the first round. Now coming back in for a proper seed round so we can push it beyond. Talk to me about how much you're going to be raising. Talk to me about like how you see the revenue jump as we jump into 2023 and how that leads through to a Series A.
Yes. So we're raising 3.5 million now. Um, and prior we raised about 1.5 million. Last year we did about 650K in annual
Mm-hmm.
revenue, and we have doubled that. Even before December, we're now doing about 1.5 million dollars in revenue for the year 2022. Um,
Yes.
yes. But what is even more incredible is our trajectory from here to the end of next year, because now we are actually on a pace of we're gearing up to be growing at a pace of 15% month on month, and that is because of the growth dynamics that we have built into our product. We're also doing a rebrand this year, and doubling down on our content marketing with our community. And by the end of next year, we should be at, or we are going to be at $5 million in annual revenue, at which point we'll be doing our Series A.
Yeah, it'll put you in a great place. And I see, obviously, I'm going to be right by your side with that rebranding because I love where the messaging is going. But I also think there's such a great opportunity here to just build a cult community, to build an
Yeah.
ambassador group that will just bring in more and more and more people as they get into this club. Because really, it is a club. It's a VIP club that you're bringing them into, and that club is a guarantee of a better life. And that's really kind of where you get to with this. And whatever they decide to take from it, whether it's, hey, my better life means I'm going to take the time that I was given and then make myself look awesome to go out this evening or dress better to go out this evening, it will become all about offers and everything that goes alongside it. Like, and this is for investors where when you look at a unicorn, the challenge that most companies have is they have one or two products. And with one or two products, it's very, very, very hard to sustain not a couple of $100 million valuation, but a couple of $1 billion valuation. They're very difficult. And this is why you've seen so many challenges with a lot of the companies over the last 6 months or so as the markets have dropped down. The wonderful thing about what's happening within Eden Life is the actual affiliations products are endless. Like it's endless because it becomes about saying, hey, Brian, what makes you happy? Oh, you don't know. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to educate you as to how you can start looking to be happier. And then as you start to discover the things which are awesome for you, we're going to make that real easy for you. You know, you need a little bit of extra time to do it. No worries. We got you. We're going to free up that time for you. You need to get a little bit of extra money for you. No problem. We're going to have financial services built into it, which will educate you and allow you to save the money that you need to be able to do those really cool things. You want to make sure that you're fit and healthy so you can actually make it up a little bit of the mountain. No worries. We got you on that as well because we're going to deliver you the very best food that you have. So it's about helping people on that self-discovery. And I think as you start to build it out, I see this just awesome multi-level marketing system whereby people are bringing people in and they have ways. And we've got all of this ahead of us in 2023. 2023 is about how we blast off and we kick it out. And so for investors, let me throw a summary in here because you've kind of, I know I I'm supposed to be asking the questions, and I kind of I kind of did the pitch, but it's because I like it, and I just think I think the world is so messed up right now. We got 8 billion people on the planet, and everybody's miserable, and everybody's just chasing making it to the end of the month, and it's so friggin' sad. And what you're doing and how you're trying to change people's mindset to say, look, search for what can make you really happy and then allow us to help you get there, and we'll even help you on the search, is so friggin' brilliant. So for me, okay, here's what you got, investors. Number one, you got proven entrepreneur. Number two, you got a proven entrepreneur. Number three, you got a proven entrepreneur. Four and five, you got a proven entrepreneur. That's it. You don't need any more. This guy did it already. He knows how to build a unicorn. The largest challenge you have in early stage startup is most people have no idea of the journey ahead. He knows the journey ahead, has built the journey ahead, been there, and the company is still really successful. So all of those things stand. The company that we're now talking about, Eden Life, is your chance to come in at the start. It's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to get the Amazon. They want to get into the Tesla. They want to get into the Andelas. They want to get in right at the very beginning. This is your chance at the start. The projections and the growth are going exactly as they were supposed to. They're right on track. They have control of the entire supply chain on the first part of it. They are going to build control on every part of it in many ways. I see a very similar trajectory to Amazon. And I know it seems crazy because Amazon, they deliver stuff, and Eden Life, they provide a better life. But the principle is exactly the same. Amazon are doing Disney, they're doing Cradle to Death, everything that you need in between. Eden Life are going to do Disney. They're going to do Cradle to Death, everything that's going to be in between. So for me, I love the platform. We were real lucky. We got to invest in it. We got to invest in ADR. I love the company. I love the founders. I love the people that are there. And I love how they're going to grow it and what's going to happen in 2023. So that is it from my side. Can you share with us, give us your email so that everybody can connect with you by email? And then also finish us with, how you see the world in 5, 10 years' time, where Eden Life is a principal component of it. You have achieved what you wanted to achieve, and the platform has what it is. So it would be a little bit like me saying to Jeff Bezos back like 15, 20 years ago, tell us how this like secondhand book uh, platform is going to turn into something really big. And him saying, well, actually, if I look at a world where there is no logistical challenges, where everybody can get anything they want and they just need to know anyway. So that's where I want you to go with Eden Life. And then let's take it home.
Yes. So fast forward 10, 15 years from now, right? We have built the operating system for life globally. That world is one where life just thrives and fulfillment and self-actualization is accessible to everybody. Like no one has a reason to not live a fulfilled life because all the information is there. We have put it together for you. All all the essential services and help that you need to get along that journey. We have put them there for you. And you can trust it because we didn't just put anybody or any provider on the platform. We have curated these things and we have built systems for these partners to deliver those experiences at scale. So everybody who is living can actually live. And we will no longer be in a situation where we have so many billions of people who are alive but not living.
Okay. How can people contact you? And then I have to add an extra piece on. Go on. How can I what's the best is email, right?
Yes, my email is just my first name, Nadayar, Nadayar, at edenlife.ng.
Okay, beautiful. And then, okay, I got something for you. And then you tell me which is better, right?
All right, drop it.
I see a world in 10 years' time where official reading curriculum in every single school for 10 to 12-year-olds is Eden Life. That's it.
Boom. Start them young.
That's it. Official reading curriculum, not like I'm talking mandatory. Every single child learns about Eden Life before they learn about, going through the crap that normally is life.
Hmm.
Hallelujah, baby. I love it. Listen, you're a beast, man. I love you. I love what we're building. We're going to keep on crushing forward on this. You and I will chat next week anyway. But for all investors out there, have his details, contact him for the love of God, get engaged with the company, find out what they're doing. And in my mind, do your own diligence, check your own stuff. In my mind, get on the train with the next unicorn in Africa.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian.
That's a wrap.